Hello everyone, this is your friend Obi Nawe. You're welcome to the second part of the conversation on Think Rich, Grow Rich. So we started talking about the mindset that the rich have and most other people don't have, which keeps them below the wealth class. Okay, so in case you've not seen that video, you can check our page. You're going to find the link to that video. You can click it and then watch it. It will help you to get clarity on the conversation we're going to be having in this video. So we're going right into it. So according from the previous conversation on how the rich see money, the rich understand leverage. They understand leverage. Now what's the meaning of leverage? Leverage means other people's money. Money that doesn't necessarily belong to you, other people's money. Another word for leverage is debt. Okay, some other people define leverage as other people's time, other people's talent, other people's resources, whichever one you choose. But the rich understand how to use leverage. Okay, why? Because you don't need only your resources to get wealthy. Nobody got wealthy by only their resources. You need human resources, and then you need, of course, financial resources of other people. The billionaire playbook involves a lot of other people money. So the rich understand leverage. Most people don't understand leverage. So rich people don't work harder. Okay, they build systems that work harder than them. All right. So rich people are very insistent on building systems. They're very insistent on having structure, frameworks that generate money for them. And that's why they own multiple businesses run by several people that turn in large chunks of money for them. So they understand leverage, they understand how to deploy resources, they understand how to build systems. The reason you are not so financially successful is because you don't yet understand how to build systems. All right, so you need to learn how that works. And in the course of time, we're going to be doing enterprise development discussions and series, and then we can talk extensively rather, about how to build systems. The other point or the other mindsets that the rich have that most other people don't have is that they separate their lifestyle from their net worth. Okay, now there are two kinds of net worth. There's your actual net worth, and then there's your liquid net worth. This video is not about net worth, but I felt I needed to talk about it. So the rich people, when they earn more money, they don't necessarily upgrade their lifestyle. What do? They increase their investments. Most other people, when their monies increase or when their financial resources increase, what comes to mind is, my level has changed. Let me use the Nigerian laid back language. Level don't change. You want to buy a new phone, you want to buy new shoes, you want to move to a more classy environment. If they were living in what they call a less classy environment or a highbrow area, if you like, they change their wardrobe. You hear all kinds of things, but wealthy people don't think like that. They only buy the things that their liquid network can afford them. So a wealthy man can be worth 100 million naira. He doesn't go buying things based on that 100 million naira net worth. He buys only what his liquid net worth can afford him. In case you don't know what liquid net worth is, you can put it in the comment section. We'll be glad to answer that question for you. So your lifestyle is not your net worth. That's another thing I want to talk about in this point or under this point. Your lifestyle is not your net worth. I remember someone who got a better job. He was paid far better. I think 2 times the salary he used to earn, and then he had to move to another city. And then when he moved there, your levels have changed. So he was eating out every other day. He was eating out. So he goes to this restaurant, blows 4,000 naira per meal. So he does it for lunch and then he does it for dinner. He was feeling like a big boy. And then after 6 months of working, he realized his finances hadn't really improved. His savings hadn't really gone up. And then he sat down to take stock and he realized he was fooling around. I'm sorry to use the word fooling around, but that's essentially what he was doing. Rather than just calm down, and it wasn't like he didn't know how to cook. he could make nice meals, but that exuberance of levels have changed. Most of us have that mindset. So levels have changed. My lifestyle has to change. Cooking is a chore. I can't afford that chore anymore. So I've got to upgrade my lifestyle. I've got to eat out now. And then after 6 months, reality sets in. And thank God he actually evaluated after 6 months. I can imagine if he did that for a year or 2 years, he would have worked for nothing. The improvement, the promotion he got in the workplace or in his career wouldn't have added any value to him. So it's important to remember this. The rich think in terms of their net worth rather than their lifestyle. They don't increase their expenses if their net worth is not improving. And that's a very important mindset to have. Now, the next point I want to talk about is that the rich study money relentlessly. They keep reading about money. So they follow financial reports, they follow stock market reports, they study economics, they study accounting. You hear some wealthy people. Recently, I listened to an interview granted by Dangote about his refinery, the Dangote refinery, after it became functional. You would think that Dangote is an engineer. You would think he read engineering mathematics. He had a lot of scientific information. Do you know why he had all that information? Because his refinery is a money spinner. So he needed to know how the refinery works so that he'll be able to relate to the operations of the refinery. That's how the wealthy think. So if I need to read engineering, if I need to study engineering concepts to be able to understand how my business works, the rich go read about it. If I need to study, if I need to get someone to tutor me, I won't be surprised if Dangote probably went somewhere and got some foundational courses on how refineries operate, every step of the processes. I'm not sure he has a science background, but because the refinery was going to significantly impact, and it has actually impacted on his net worth, right? He took the pain and the effort to study about engineering concepts. As a science student in secondary, as a scientist by training, as a pharmacist, microbiologist, and all of that, I don't even have as much information as he did on how refineries work. I was surprised he was talking about the fractional distillation column. Of course, I know about that. But I was really shocked that somebody without a science background had that much knowledge. So that's what sets the rich apart from most other people. They study relentlessly about subject matters that enhance their ability to multiply their income. They treat money like a language they must master. The final point we're going to talk about in this video is that they control emotions around money. Okay, they don't do anything based on emotions. Okay, they do things based on facts. Most people do investment, do business, do finance based on emotions, based on hype. The wealthy don't follow the hype. They check the hype to make sure the hype is worth the hype. So they don't panic during downturns when stock market prices are coming down. In fact, they go to the market when the markets are down, because that presents an opportunity to buy stocks at a discount. They understand fundamentals. So they are not emotion driven, they are facts driven. Most other people who are not as successful are mostly emotion driven. Okay, so fear and greed destroy wealth. Fear of the unknown. Most people are afraid because they think investments are risky. The investments are not risky. If you have been following our videos, you would have heard me say that it is the investor, the ignorant investor, that makes an investment risky. If you're knowledgeable, investments are not risky. Okay, and then greed. They don't fall into Ponzi schemes because they understand how money works, right? My uncle had a proverb that he shares. And what is the proverb? He says, if you ever get tricked by a trickster, by a fraudster, by a 419er, like we say in Nigeria, then it's because you had a greed that was very insatiable. Fear and greed are two of the emotions expressed by people who are not very wealthy most of the time. You might argue that wealthy people have some measure of greed. Well, you might argue that, yes, sometimes they do because they want to make more money, but they don't go about it the way most people are not successful go about it. That's the difference. Okay, so on that note, we've come to the end of this series. I hope you've seen the first series. In case you have not seen the first part of this video, I'll encourage you to go see that video. it puts this second video in proper context, and then it helps you putting all of the mindset together. You can change your financial fortune significantly. All right, so this year we want you to succeed financially better than you did last year. Many of us made tons of money last year. I want you to be like that. Okay. Ella Lakes just went. They just ended their public offer, and it was heavily subscribed. And there are many other opportunities that will come up this year. So we'll give you tips on hot deals that are available in stock market, when there are treasury bill auctions coming up and stuff like that. So you want to stay connected to this channel. In case you're yet to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button, share this video with your friends, share this video with your associates, share this video, send the message out there. It will help the algorithm to get this video to many more persons who need this financial content. You know, we're going through tough times in Nigeria, but the truth is that people are still making money in this country. People are still getting by. People are still amassing wealth, and they're not doing it illegitimately. You can still make money genuinely if you understand how to go about it. And that's why we're here. Okay, so you want to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. Please like this video. I asked a few questions during the course of this video. You can drop the questions or your answers in the comment section. We'll be glad to provide clarifications if you need any further clarifications. And then, so another thing I would also want to say before we wrap up is, if there are topics you feel you want us to do content on, please feel free to drop those ideas. We have tons of things we want to talk about this year, but that would be a good way to get feedback from you. Your preferred choices, there are subject matters in finance and business and wealth creation that you're grappling with. You can put in the comments. We could do a video. We could do a masterclass around it. Hopefully this year we also want to do a couple of masterclasses that would help move up your financial literacy and then put you on the path of financial success. So on that note, I want to thank you for seeing this video. Until next time, stay focused, think rich, grow rich. Bye for now.